Hello everyone, Chris Jarzyk, your Southwest Florida Realtor with MVP Realty. I hope you are having an amazing day. I certainly know I am. The sun is shining. It's a slightly cloudy day. It's another beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. Just about 88 degrees. I am up here in the northeast section of Cape Coral. As you can see, we have some new construction going on Freshwater. Well, dry lot was here. Hopefully I'm not making anybody sick while doing this little spinorama. And this house is on a freshwater canal. Got a light breeze going. I'm going to see if I can hop on over to show you guys the freshwater canal. The reason for this video is I've been getting asked quite a bit about waterfront property here in Cape Coral, and there are a lot of assumptions that everything is Gulf access here in Cape, which is not the case. Pardon me if I'm looking down. I don't want to step on something I shouldn't. Maybe a snake or a nail. I mean, you do have a lot of construction debris when it comes to new construction. I'm gonna sneak on over here as best I can. So this is basically two lots here. If you see this new construction home, and there's a home there that just closed recently, there are two buildable lots in between. Now, when I say two buildable lots, a common thing that I'll receive when I send out mailers is when people respond, they'll say, well, I have two buildable lots in Cape Coral, which really only means one. The way they do the lots is kind of interesting. I'll explain that in another video. But between this house here and this house, there'll be the ability to fit two homes on those four sites here. So two buildable lots is really only one, I guess is the only way to really say it. So I'm not going to get too close to the freshwater. But as you can see behind me, very nice canal there, freshwater setup. So the difference between fresh and, let me see if I can get a shady spot over here. There's such a thing in Florida with all the palm trees, so I'll kind of keep my back to the water. This one has a seawall. Normally I advise people, especially if the water is low and there is a bank, do not get too close to the edge of the water. That is fresh water, and especially don't turn your back to it. If you're golfing, fishing, doing whatever, don't let your kids or pets near the water. We do have rather large reptiles that reside in these freshwater canals, so just take caution when you are by any body of water. Just assume that there will be an alligator in the waters where you are at. So the difference between freshwater and the Gulf access canals. So freshwater canals will lead you to either a small chain of lakes. Some canals are created differently. Some will have larger lakes. Others will have just about an 80-foot canal, maybe 100-foot, 120, where you can take a small watercraft. Nobody does have docks here in this particular spot, but you can do a small watercraft. People do kayak and canoe and fish. These particular canal systems, the freshwater, will not allow you to get to the Caloosahatchee. And when I say Caloosahatchee, I'm not going to say Caloosahatchee River. I'll just refer to it as the Caloosahatchee. Years ago, when I took a boat trip, the captain had made mention that Caloosahatchee, I believe, is a Seminole word, which means river. So when you say Caloosahatchee River, you're saying river, river. So that was the captain telling us that. So when I mentioned Caloosahatchee, that is the river that will lead to the Gulf of Mexico. So these particular canal systems here, these freshwater canals, will not allow you access to the Gulf of Mexico. Those are the saltwater / brackish Gulf access canals. With the Gulf access canals, they will command a higher price tag than the freshwater you see behind me. For obvious reasons, it gets you out to the Caloosahatchee, which will then get you to the Gulf of Mexico. If you travel upriver, I believe there's a lock far up there that will get you to the Atlantic side. I don't know. I don't travel that way. I only head towards the Gulf of Mexico to go out to Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, Cayo Costa, those places. But I'll explain all that later. So the freshwater does not allow you access. Great fishing, great kayaking. You can do small watercraft. Just beware, though, there are alligators in here. Not to say there aren't alligators in the Gulf access canals, but this is certainly more of a chance in here that you will have alligators residing behind me. So the Gulf access canals, you're going to have what's called direct access, which will allow a sailboat. The direct access are no bridges whatsoever. There is one spot that is considered direct access, but has a boat lock. That's down by Rum Runners on the Spreader Canal, going past Cape Harbor. Maybe I'll be able to pop a map up. If not, if you have questions, give me a shout. I'll explain it or direct you to an online map that'll show you. But the direct access canals, since they offer closer access to the river and quicker access to the Gulf of Mexico, those will be higher in value. The further away that you get from the river, the cheaper the dollars go in most cases, unless the house is newer and more grandiose than some of the older ones. The areas that cover your Gulf access canals are going to be parts of the Northwest Cape, the Southwest, and the Southeast. The Northeast does not have any Gulf access. That's more freshwater of what you're seeing behind me. So the heights of the bridges will come into play. So for the non-direct access, you will have anywhere from an 8-foot bridge to potentially a little over 11 feet. Some properties will have 2 bridges and a lock. Some properties will have 3 bridges, 1 bridge. It all depends on where you're at. So your boat ride to the Gulf of Mexico could take you anywhere from 5 minutes if you're close, 10 minutes, all the way up to 45 minutes to an hour, because there is no wake and it's idle speed. So just to reiterate again, I don't want to get too crazy with this video. We're already kicking on 10 minutes here almost, but freshwater, like you see behind me, will not allow any access to the Caloosahatchee or the Gulf of Mexico. Your Gulf access canals, the closer you are to the river and the Gulf, will be more expensive, and the further out you go, that will cheapen up as far as dollar value for your purchase. There are not a ton of Gulf access lots available, depending on the area. Southwest does not have a lot. Southeast, what a lot of people are doing is demoing some of the older homes that were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s and redoing there. If you do have questions about the availability of Gulf access lots, you can always give me a call, or freshwater lots, either way. Just to kind of recap, again, freshwater, no access. Gulf access is going to depend on what you're into. If you have a bigger boat or a sailboat, you're going to need to be direct. You're not going to have any bridges, and possibly not wanting that lock by Rum Runners. And the further away from the river you get, generally the cheaper the lot and the house will be. And again, multiple bridges for some, longer rides, 60, 70 minutes maybe. I've heard some as long as, almost an hour and a half. And, it can range, but you have to go idle speed because there are no wake zones. You have manatees. People want to mind their seawalls and make sure that nothing happens to them. They can be troublesome over time with a lot of water bashing up against them. So, oh, got a little sun here. Let me flip it around, try and make it less glare in the camera. So I wanted to thank you guys for checking out this quick video. I'll wait for a truck to go by. Sorry about that. I want to thank you guys for checking out this quick video. I know it's been a while, I think 3 weeks since I've put out a video. Been a very, very busy time. Fortunately, I've been getting calls, texts, and emails from a lot of viewers and subscribers looking to move to Florida and relocate. As always, if you are looking for real estate or have questions about real estate here in Southwest Florida, my contact information is below. I'll help you out. Love to answer any questions you may have. Chris Jarzyk, MVP Realty. Thank you for checking out the saltwater versus freshwater video, and I'll see you on the next one.